Greetings everyone, Wrecker here. Wrecker runs DC Universe Online. Coming with you today with my Atomic tank build and loadout updated for 2020. I'd shared my loadout with you on an earlier video. Wanted to share how I do it, why I do it, my build. After I've done some further testing here, I'll go over everything from my stat point allocation to where I put those points, what kind of artifacts I use, my white mods, the whole shebang. And for me, the best way to show you is to simply start over with all my stat points. I always start with my movement mode first. You want to make sure you get these two, the restraint resistant and the stun resistance. Those are very important as a tank, and that's the only ones you need out of it, but make sure you get those. I think they're important to you, whether you're playing tank, DPS, healer, or controller. Those are very important. Next, I go into my weapons. I use one-handed. Whichever weapon you use, make sure you get yourself a weapon combo in case you need it to generate your own power. As a tank, you want a weapon that you can lunge something quickly, and the one-handed works really well for that. So once you've got your movement mode and your weapon combo, now I'm gonna go down my stat points. You're always gonna go down the middle for the hybrid. You get the extra might, restoration, and vitalization. And then it says 5% dominance, which is actually 10% dominance, because dominance on gear and stats are doubled in tank row. So you'd be crazy not to go straight down the middle as a tank. Now you have to get 20 to get down to the bottom row. I go ahead and do it. Glitches out like that for me every time. But I go ahead and put mine in critical healing, chance, and magnitude, because I do have self heals, and it also boosts the heals that I get from the healer. So that's why I put it there. Once I get those 20, now I can go down to the bottom. You may not have as many skill points as me, but how many skill points you have, you want to dump the rest of it into dominance now. The reason why is, and I'll show you right now, in the Atomic, when you're hitting these combos, there's one. Atom Splitter's a great one. Molecular charges reconstitute a portion of your tissue when applied, healing you for an amount equal to 40% of your max dominance. This loadout that I'm sharing with you and build are all about keeping that quark gluon aura, or the glow as I call it, keeping that glow up and rotating a couple shields. So the dominance is the higher your dominance is, the greater you're going to heal yourself, and the stronger it's going to make the two shields that I'm going to share with you. So that's why we go dominance first there. Now after you go dominance, if you have any skill points left, go ahead and put them into health. And the reason you do that is, let's learn a little bit more about the quark gluon aura. While active, you get 35% control resistance plus 25% damage absorption when not blocking, and your attacks heal you for an amount equal to 2% of your max health. So the higher your health is, the higher the heals you're going to get back off your combos. So that's why you go into your health second. So dominance first to get those, to max out the heals you're going to get, because it's 40% of your max dominance, and then health second because it's 2% of your max health for the heals you get off your damage combos. So after we get done with our stat points, oh, and I made a mistake. Did not get hard light shield. Need to rectify that. And that happens. Luckily, thankfully, they've really made it so much easier to do your skill points now. So just bear with me. Everyone makes mistakes. that's in your iconic tree. I use this hard light shield. Man, it's the best shield that's not a supercharge in the game. Really works well. Now, let's see if it glitches out on me again here. Maybe not. No. Looks like it's gonna work for me now. Remember, after we get our 20 here, I put the 20 to increase the magnitude of the heals I get. The rest of whatever you have put into dominance. And then if you were to have any left, put the rest of that into health. Now our loadout. I do mine left to right, usually in the order that I use them, but this, my first button on the left, I'm making because the combos are so important, and because square is a melee button on DCUO, I make that the thermochemical explosion. It's one of my combos that I'm going to work. It's not necessarily the first power that I'm going to throw. Usually that would make that the first power that I'm going to throw, but because of the nature of this power set and the need to hit these combos and using square button to do so, I will make that. Some people use the 360 pull, the atom splitter instead, but if you notice it has a 3.75 second cooldown, and the thermochemical explosion only has a 2.75, so a whole second less. So you can get back into it quicker and get those combos going, and which are going to give you more heals and more damage mitigation. So that's exactly what you want. Next, Proton Remedy, and it's going to heal you over time, and it's going to make your activate your quark glue on aura faster. If you don't use this power, you've got to hit 6 combos before you can put your glow up. Where if you use Proton Remedy, you only have to hit 2 combos and then you can put your glow up. There's Hard Light Shield, which we talked about earlier. It's the best shield in the game that's not a supercharge. Density is the shield that's offered to you here in Atomic Reorganization with our long range pull, and it really works good if you do PvP. Man, that power really disorients people in PvP. But it's a must as a tank. It's a long range pull to pull everything to you to help you keep the aggression and keep everything close to you. And then this is the only tank power set that I'm rocking a supercharge right now, mass density. It forces you and 7 group members to transmute into heavy metal, causing incoming damage to be absorbed. It also de-taunts your group members. If they're getting attacked by something else, it makes the enemies go away from them. And you all gain 10% more control resistance. It's a great shield. It's comparable to Event Horizon and Quantum. And it doesn't give you power like Event Horizon does, but it gives everyone a shield and keeps them from taking damage. It's a very nice shield. And then you can, when those old crap moments, or you got a one shot, or you know a big hit's coming, you pop that supercharge. It'll save you and it'll save the group. Now, before I go over my loadout and rotation in depth, go over my white mods a little bit. Where I do run mass density, or when I'll start my weapon absorption adapter, it gives you a shield when you do your weapon combos. In my head, I use the mass density, grants 5% supercharge back when you use that. That's the supercharger I talked about that shields everyone in the group and gives you immunity control effects. So that one, it really helps to build that supercharge back when you have that mod in. You don't want to block this. Fortified Assault, I was talking with my league mates earlier tonight. This tank is really made for a battle tank. If you wanted to battle tank, this would be the power set to use. So you don't want to block here, you want to be trying to hit those combos. Accelerated density, that's going to give you a 10% cooldown off your main shield that's in the Atomic power set. I use Hardy in here. You can also use the healing one, either or. It's whatever your preference. I do it to get the higher heals because I showed you with the quark glue on aura with the glow. that's 2% of your max health off those combos, so that's why I do use that there. They don't really have one that helps you as a tank for the legs. And the feet, I use deadly block so that if I was to block, something hits me, it's going to get knocked down beside me instead of getting knocked away from me. Regenerative shielding in the hands so that when I cast those two shields I'll be rotating, I'll get a small heal. Now, artifacts, uh, I think these two, no matter what tank you use, are have-tos. Manacles of Force, 10% shield cooldowns are reduced on all shields. So, and you get absorb 50% of incoming damage when Unshakable is activated, and that's when your health gets below 30%. It's a really nice artifact that'll save your butt, and just the dominance that you get from it and the permanent all shields cooldown for 10% are worth it. The Mystic Symbol of 7 is the other one. That's where your defense is increased by 5% for each enemy within 5 yards of you. That's another must as a tank. Those two. The other one, you can argue about which one I use, the Everyman prototype, because I like that as your health gets low, below how it converts your max health into defense. It'll help keep you alive. I think that's a very nice one. But now there's other ones you could use there, and it's debatable which one you use there. But the mystical symbols of the 7 and the manacles of force are a must. If you're going to play in-game content and you want to do in-game elite stuff, you need to have those. Now, talk about our loadout. And like I said, the first slot there, I use thermochemical explosion instead of atom splitter. It's really all up to you. And usually the first power I would use would be right there, but because of the nature of this, I've got to hit combos. So the first power I'm going to use, I'm going to throw a shield first, and then as I jump in to hit a ball, so I'm going to combo, and then I'm going to clip it with that Proton Remedy so that I go ahead and get that cheat that I talked about earlier and get my glow up. Now you want to keep hitting these combos, which I'm missing, but you want to hit those combos and then rotate those shields. Whenever that shield goes down, I'm going to go ahead and put the Hardlight shield up. I do it even if I am hitting my combos, just simply because it's more damage mitigation, and it's less damage you're going to take, less healing you have to do. And you say, when do you know when to cast the next shield? What I do is I look, and when the power is about halfway red or halfway off cooldown, that's when I hit it and go to the next one. One thing that I will say about this, out of the 3 tank power sets I've used so far, Atomic has been the most power hungry on both sides, on both the tank and on the DPS side. But it's real simple loadout. It's all about keeping that glow up with the combos, and all about rotating those 2 shields. And just make sure you have in your white mods the mass density so that you regen it in your head. And also, I would recommend, especially if you're going in elite content, to go ahead and have your supercharges built up so you'll have the mass density ready to go when you go into that content, because it can really save your butt big time. And that's my Atomic build and loadout. Now we can go. I can't jump in a raid right now to show you, but I can go to Bird of Prey Metropolis and go check out old Mr. Calculator bot, because it hits you pretty hard. Give you a little bit of it in action, which I've showed you that before. The biggest thing with Atomic is you want to max that dom out so that I'm maxing out, getting that 40% of my max dominance heals for my combos, and then I want to go with my health so that I'm getting that 2% more healing back as well when I am healing. There's nobody here, but it doesn't really matter if I've got this spec right. Remember, when I jump in, I'm going to go hard light shield first so that I've got some damage mitigation.
Humans
Until I can get my combos going, clip it right in so that I get my glow up, get that port blue on aura up. You see that my shield's about halfway on cooldown, so I'm going to rotate that. I did not talk about my trinkets and boots. You want to make sure that if you do have a Boo Junior, rock it, because man, it's just a great shield that'll help keep your butt alive. If you don't, get you a maxed out sidekick, whatever you have, that can help you. It's gonna throw you power, throw you a shield, heal you over time, and help you tank, which is really nice attributes to have. You see, I'm just rotating my shield, rocking my combos, and you'll also see that it's pretty power hungry, just like I said. My health's not really rocking up and down because it's just a steady loadout that can be used. The only thing about it is hard to hit the combos. You can get knocked around. That's where I have those two shields to fall back on, to keep me from dying, and to keep those combos going. It's a lot easier for me to hit those combos when I'm not getting hit all the time. Get knocked around where I have those shields. But that's it. That's Atomic Tank build and loadout for 2020. It's all about the glow. All about rotating those two shields. And you see I've got my supercharge that I was talking about. When you cast it supercharge, it's really awesome. You don't take hardly any damage. And you see, it's pretty sweet. Plus I detail. But hey, there is my Atomic Tank build and loadout for 2020. And it's not a difficult build or loadout whatsoever. It's pretty simple. If you liked the video, find it useful, go ahead and like it. Share it with your friends. Comment. If you didn't like the video, dislike it. Go ahead and dislike it. Tell me why. Tell me what I need to improve on. I'm all about it. But I know this loadout works. I tanked Fire Brimstone Elite with it tonight. You just saw me tanking Calcbot all by myself. It's all about those glows and all about rotating those two shields. Remember, when Hardlight Shield's about halfway on cooldown, then you want to cast Density. Same deal. When Density's about halfway gone, go back into Hardlight Shield. But keep those combos going so you can get those self-heals and rotate those two shields. That's what it's all about. It's all about that, keeping that glow up. Because if you got the glow, you're getting real good heals, and you're going to be successful. Like I said, if you like the video, like it, share it with your friends, comment. Make sure if you haven't yet, go ahead and go to the video where I talked about the 50 million giveaway where I hit 50 subscribers. Go ahead and like that video, share that video, and comment done. You'll be entered to win 50 million in-game cash. So thank you again for watching. God bless each and every one of you, and have a great evening.